Hi folks, today I just thought I'd make a little video showing you how I steam up and operate my Accucraft Caradoc. It's, as I said, steam up because it's a live steam locomotive. It's a freelance design by Accucraft of a typical British side tank 040 locomotive. It's set at 45mm gauge just now, but it is gauge adjustable. You can set it to 32mm if you need to. Okay, so it is fitted with remote control, and there's a battery pack underneath here, so it's charged up by this cable here. The roof slides off, just like that, and inside we have a lubricator here. Steam oil goes in there, not normal oil, it has to be steam oil to lubricate the inside of the cylinders and valves. We have, this is the regulator. This lets the amount of steam you require into the cylinders to make it go, and this operates the gas, which goes into here. That's the gas tank, and it is butane only on, or at least that's what they recommend on Accucraft locomotives. Here is where you put the water in, and because it's a live steam locomotive it requires water, lubrication and fuel to heat the water up. In this case it's gas. The gas burner, which is here, you see it, this is the jet in here, so the gas line from the tank, and the burner goes in to the inside of the boiler, so it's internally fired. This control here is the forward reverse lever, or I suppose if you're in America I think you call it the Johnson bar. So it would be forward for forward and backwards for backwards, and this rod here goes to an actuator which is down inside there, you can't see it, and inside this tank here there is a receiver for the remote control, and this is the transmitter for the remote control. Okay, we've turned the locomotive on its side to gain access to the underneath here, and we're going to put lubricating oil, not steam oil, lubricating oil in all these moving parts on both sides. Everything that moves, all this valve gear, I don't know why we're not focusing, but there we go, and the eccentric here, this is for the valve timing, all this stuff, the wheel bearings, etc. So everything needs lubricated with lubricating oil. We also need to put steam oil into the lubricator here, and that unscrews like that. So that's it unscrewed, and that's looking down into the lubricator, and at the bottom there's a drain, and we'll undo that drain a bit just in case there's any water collected inside the lubricator. We'll let it drain out before we put steam oil into the lubricator. Okay, any water that was in there is drained out, and we've tightened the drain back up again. Now we're back to the lubricator, which is up here, and we'll get some steam oil. It has to be steam oil, as I say, because it's specially formulated to mix with the steam. And we put the steam oil into the lubricator, squeezing the syringe so that the oil goes in. Okay, sorry. Right, I think you might be able to see there the oil is there, and it's just up to where the steam pipe goes through. You don't want any more than that, and that's your lubricator full of steam oil. We of course then screw the top back on to the lubricator. Okay, next step, using distilled water. You don't want tap water unless you've got a really soft water area. Even then I would suggest best thing is distilled water, and we fill the boiler up with water through here using this syringe. Now there's a drain on this side here, and you fill the boiler up until water just starts coming out of that drain. So the water has just started to come out of that drain there, as you can see. So we'll stop putting water in the boiler, and we shall put this back on. That's that. Now we'll leave this drain open while we're steaming it up. Basically, once the water that's dripping out turns to steam, we know we've got the right level, the correct level of water in the boiler, and we'll close the drain valve then. Okay, we have to put some gas into this gas tank here. As I say, Accucraft specify butane only. Don't buy the cheapest stuff you can, because it's full of impurities and it'll block your jet up and cause all sorts of problems. So the butane, this valve here, it goes onto there and gets pressed down and fills the tank up. You'll know when it's full because it starts spluttering back out, if that's the best word, or escaping back out of the top of the valve there. Now I can't press that down while I'm holding my phone, so I'll have to do it off camera if that's okay. Okay, so I've filled the gas. I've got the door open a bit here because you want some ventilation when you're doing that. And now you're going to wait, because it takes a while for the gas to settle in the tank. You don't want to light the burner too soon. You get all sorts of strange things going on. So we'll leave that for a while and let the ventilation take care of the horrible smell. Now at this point, before we light anything and get the steam up, we want to make sure that the remote control is working. Now, as you can see, if I turn this control knob here, you see the forward reverse lever, going to the centre position, going to reverse, centre and forward. Okay, we'll put it in the middle there while we're steaming up. Now we know that the RC is working. Okay, so the smoke box door opens, as you can see, so you can light the burner. Put it back here a bit, and we'll turn the gas on just a bit, and as you can see, some gas coming out there. You want to wait until that, yeah, that's a good float then. That's just getting rid of the gas that hasn't settled. You don't want to light that or you'll get a fire in the smoke box. So we'll wait for it to clear and then, yeah. So hopefully it'll go now. We'll turn the gas on. And that's the burner lit, you can tell by the, it's a good sound. So we'll close the gas a bit so it's a little bit quieter, and then we'll close the smoke box door, and that's the sound you want to hear. That's the burner doing its job. As you can see, while the water's heating up inside the boiler, the drain drips away into there. Once that turns to steam, then you close that drain, let the pressure build up, and you're good to go. There's the pressure gauge there. Still no pressure yet, but a while to wait for pressure building. The most important thing, of course, is we've added a driver. It's not going to go anywhere without the driver, and we've slid the roof back on. Okay, so probably safe to close this now, watching you don't burn your fingers. I'll do it off camera. Okay, that's that valve closed now. You can tend to singe your fingers a little bit doing that, but I got away with it lightly. So now it's just a matter of watching the pressure gauge there, see it in the window, and letting the steam build up. Okay, so if you look at the pressure gauge there, you can see it's more or less up to pressure. And there's some steam coming out of the safety valve now. So what we'll do, we'll open the regulator a little bit, and that lets steam into the cylinders. Now the cylinders are going to be cold, so a lot of that steam will turn back into water. Obviously if you cool steam down, it turns back into water. So sometimes it can take a little bit just to clear that. So what we'll do, using the remote control, we'll put the Johnson bar or the forward reverse bars forward. You can see it moving there. There's something happening. And she's starting to move. As I say, she needs to clear those cylinders. Quite good that time, okay. Get to come back. There we go. Right, I think she should be almost ready to go now. What we'll do is we'll couple the train up and then we'll get her going. Okay, the train's coupled, and once again we'll move that reversing bars forward. And off she goes. Now at the end of the run we want to open this valve underneath the lubricator to blow down the boiler and get rid of all the old lubricating oil, etc. And that's it. That's how I steam up and operate my Accucraft Caradoc. Thanks for tuning in, folks. See you all next time.